A lot of the gurus invest in companies that do not score high on moat management or rule number one. Isn't that the truth? Right? Can you please explain how to use their portfolios as guidance versus focusing on companies that are green for moat management? Right. So it is really true. The biggest problem with being a guru is the institutional imperative to do something all the time that's brilliant is really alive and well, even among Rule 1 gurus. And so, because most of these people I think are way smarter than me, they're able to figure out, I'm thinking particularly of people like Michael Burry, are able to figure out, how to put money in a company, even though the numbers are crap, and he's got too much debt and it's really, doesn't look all that good. And they're doing a lot of what Ben Graham used to do way back in the day. But boy, that just requires a great deal of skill. So we don't teach you that. We just give you the gurus as another place to be sourcing ideas. That's the main thing. So it depends on the guru. Now, if you see Bill Ackman buying a company and the numbers are a little not great, I would pay a lot of attention to that. If you see, let's say, Guy Spear, I'd pay a lot of attention. The numbers might be about to become really good in the future. Because remember, you're always buying, you can't just buy because they had historically good numbers. That's not enough, which is why we tell you with no uncertain terms that you've got to know and understand this business. And that's why we want you to narrow it down to just one or two or so. To devote the amount of time necessary to each of the most important parts of your life, right? So you have to devote time to work, your career. Ultimately, if you've already started a family, that's going to be a major time suck. You want to keep friends. You find that most people with kids are having trouble hanging on to their friends. Self-development, finance, each of those things is super important. So I think probably the critical thing is to be disciplined about priorities. So the weird thing is, of course, right when you're young and you're starting a family and you're really just starting your career, so you're not making a ton of money, that is the time when it's the most important to get money into the market, because the power of compounding is one which depends enormously on time. And so unfortunately, most people go the other way around because, they just don't make enough money in their careers to be able to become independently wealthy based on what they're making. And they don't really have enough money to invest until far later. And that's why you get to be 48 years old and you're just starting to be an investor and just starting to really pay attention, and you're scrambling like crazy for the next 20 years. You could avoid all of that just literally simply by putting money in the S&P 500 index, not even doing any real investing on your own, not even 15 minutes a week. Just stick the money in there every paycheck religiously. And if you do that religiously, even when you need money for the kids, even when you need money for their college, even you just don't ever take it out, I can promise you you'll be a multimillionaire by the time you retire. So if you are going to do more than that, then you have to have the discipline to do it. And when you're young, it really takes that. And that's, of course, when you have the least amount of discipline and the most optimism about how things are going to turn out. So. So being unemotional and staying rational is really what we're talking about here. Staying grounded is staying rational, not letting the emotions of the moment catch up and start to cause you to do more than you need to be doing. So yeah, I do transcendental meditation. I've been doing it for 40 some years. So does Danielle, and my kids do it. Melissa doesn't. She learned to do transcendental meditation, but she doesn't love sitting down with her eyes closed. She does her meditation by walking in the woods outside our farm. So any way you can get it to get yourself distanced from the stress, I guess is probably the way to do it. I know a number of people who do long distance running and long distance swimming, triathletes, and they often find themselves in the zone, which gets you there. One of my kids loves hunting and would, at 10 years old, would describe his experience up in a deer stand as transcendent experiences. So, and of course, people who are, many people who are highly spiritual or religious find meditative prayer to be extremely effective. The great book out there called The Seven Story Mountain from Thomas Merton, who was a not a Franciscan monk, he's a Catholic monk. And he explored the experience of transcendence in contemplative prayer, but also looked at the other religions in the world, and across the board found that monks in these other monasteries that were devoted to completely non-Christian forms of religion had the identical experience in meditation that he did. So, yeah, I would say you find something that works for you and then do it. If I can use the word religiously, do it religiously, do it with discipline. I came back from a war and immediately started meditating. It really, really helped me handle the stress. And so, strongly recommend some form of transcendence where you kind of go beyond thinking into the zone, and it really helps and will really help you stay stable through the ups and downs of even your investing career.